Hello and welcome back to Mortals and Portals, a Pathfinder real play podcast. I'm your host and GM, Zach, and joining me at the table is...
Adam, and I play an Azarketi bard named Jules or something like that.
I'm Joel, and I play Dax, a kobold rogue.
Yeah, whatever. I'm Ryan. I play Tough, an automaton inventor.
Yeah, I don't care.
Taryn, happy to be here.
Oh, that was nice. Yeah, you guys should all mimic Taryn's attitude. That was
I feel bad.
I'm Joel,
Maybe if you guys were
I'm happy
nicer
to be
to me.
here.
I don't know.
Hey, if our whiny voices sounded a little bit better there, it's because we got new mics. So, and if you don't notice any difference, then don't tell us because they're expensive. So
I'm
And
peeking.
if we sound worse, definitely don't say anything.
Thanks,
definitely don't say
patrons.
anything
It's
if
all
they're
because
worse.
of you.
it is all because of the patrons. Thank you, patrons.
This is your fault.
Thanks.
If you're a patron, listen to me.
Thank you.
Listen to me right now if you're a patron. Thank you. All right, your guys' turn. You guys can say thanks now.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah, good.
guys.
Yeah.
Your support is genuinely insane to all of us.
What? You said a nicer one than us. Now we all got to redo ours.
Like,
Your
yours
support
guys'
is
support
if you
genuinely-
would have told me,
No, I was
you-
going, Ryan.
shut up. Everybody shut up.
Whoa, that doesn't feel good to be on the other end of that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
If you would have told me a
Really
year
sorry I
ago
did that
that,
to you guys.
that we would have been able to all upgrade our mics because people supported our weird little podcast we decided to make, I wouldn't have believed you.
Yeah.
So,
I would have told you to shut up, actually, Joel.
right. So
I would have yelled it
I will shut up.
over a
No.
crappy mic. And you would have been like, that doesn't sound very good. I would have been like, whatever, shut up.
That's your problem, not mine, Joel.
It'll be really funny when this doesn't sound any better at all.
Yeah. Well, they'll just hear more of our mouth sounds because it's too high quality. And they'll be like, ugh. So sorry about that if you do.
High def lick slaps.
That's why we got him. We're actually
Smacks.
starting an ASMR podcast on the side. So, yeah. Cool. Well, anyway, that was a complete and total sidebar. Anyways,
Maybe we
last
should
time
restart.
on Mortals and Portals, let's see, it was a really long time ago that we recorded, actually, so my memory is slightly fuzzy. Oh, this is the one where Tough confronted Dax, that's right, and you guys
It's
hashed
the one
it
you
out.
just
Yeah, it's the one I just listened to it today, actually. That makes sense. So thank you, Joel. Thank you for editing that in such a timely fashion.
Thanks,
Hooking me
Joel.
up. And let's see what happened in that one. Jules was in a cavern and he saw some kitsune guarding it, playing cards with an undead, and he was trying to figure out how to get past them. So he summoned his unseen servant, who we've now established didn't know that Jules could see him the entire time, and now is like self-conscious about his suit and tie and hair and everything. But Jules sent him over to make a distraction, and then he also met some like weird little lizard fish guy that can swim up waterfalls magically, named Diego, and he became friends with them, and with the combined help of his unseen servant. And is it Danger Diego or Diego Danger? At one point in the episode, I say specifically the one he prefers, and then I proceed to not call him that the rest of the time, but he's one of those. And he could talk to Jules because he's a fish and Jules can talk to fish. So that's how you get characters like Diego and Glorb or Blorb or whatever the heck it was in the other episode. But yeah, Jules teamed up with him, swam up a waterfall, punched a guy, threw him over the ledge. It was pretty cool. Proceeded down the tunnels with his new companion. And then we did a little flashback of Tough as a kid, where we just saw how everyone treats Tough kind of poorly, which is really just an excuse for me to be mean to Ryan and blame it on a made-up character roleplay. So that's really all that's about. But
I love sympathy farming.
yeah, he always is like, oh, I feel so bad. I'm doing a dash. Yeah, it's really
Feel
annoying,
bad for
but-
me.
yeah. Anyways, we saw just how Dunadas holds Tough in such a high regard and really treats him like a son genuinely and defends him in front of other people and is very proud of him. They had a lot of good memories together, and you kind of saw how he was trying to go on an expedition to figure out how to build the Arcanor and study ley lines, but that was turned down by Alderim Tinkergear, the headmaster of the university, and Dunadast really felt like completing the Arcanor was important, and he had to do it. So he told Tough he would leave, but return to him as long as there's breath in his lungs, Dax. And didn't bring Tough because it was just Kaldor is a dangerous place, and as you guys are seeing right now, and isn't the kindest to automatons, so he wanted to protect you from that. Thought he'd return very shortly, but obviously we know what happens. He got stranded on Nisreen for decades and dealt with the Drake Knights, Sindor, and all that stuff. And then we jumped forward back to the present and saw Tough confronting Dax, and Waltz is there, and Waltz basically saw that this whole vision he's having about Lorthal being destroyed or not destroyed kind of was resting on the outcome of this encounter because he didn't know if Dax was truly working against them, was evil and would stop them that way, or if he was good and Tough was going to kill him and that was going to cost them. So he just had to figure out this scenario while I listened to you guys, and Dax basically explained like why he killed Dunadas and how Dunadas explained to him that it was the most logical choice and would guarantee that Sindor didn't get the plans to the Arcanor and recreate it or figure out how to turn it into a nuke or something like that. And although Tough didn't fully put this to rest, like he definitely is not happy with Dax and probably will want to confront this later. He knows at least that Dax is not a threat to the current mission and they do need his help. So once he knew that he could trust everyone in the boat, he revealed that he does not have the Flora de Vida to them, and obviously Jules has it, and that they're going to be a distraction. So he did what Reynard did to imitate the Flora de Vida to Raul and let out a flare of magical power that convinced all the Kitsune and others that could sense it that he has the Flora de Vida, and now they're rushing this way to you guys in a boat. You guys are you're in a really strategic position on this tiny little boat in the middle of a lake with the Merkfane coming your way. So you guys are good. So
All according to plan.
yeah, all according to plan. That's awesome. And I'll let you guys kind of think about that plan a little bit longer because we're going to start with Jules.
You got it, Jules.
Yeah, you can do this, Jules. Jules, you
Actually, I
are-
wasn't
oh,
listening. Can you start over?
Yeah, okay. So last time on Mortals and Portals, okay, yeah. You're running down this tunnel with Danger Diego. Diego Danger. I don't know. Diego. That's all. His name's Diego.
He is dangerous.
You're continuing to descend, making your way to Caverna de Luz. Can you roll me a perception check?
For you, Zach, GM Zach or Nesty, I will.
You could do it for Ryan too if you want. Ryan was
Please
texting me
do.
that he was kind of bummed that you guys only ever roll for me because he was
That was
sympathy
private.
farming. Well, you were sympathy farming, so I thought you'd want everyone to hear it.
That is a dirty 20.
Ooh, dirty one? Okay.
More like Caverna de Win, am I right?
Heyo. That was good. That was good, Joel.
Thanks.
Jules, as you're jogging down this cavern, Diego is really pumped up.
We vanquished that foe and got vengeance for Carlos, but we must not stop until we completely rid this cavern of those weeds, those wretched Katsune.
I dislike them as much as you, but I'm on a more important mission.
What could be more important than vengeance for Carlos?
Making sure we all don't die.
Well, what? What is going on? What do you mean?
Do you know what a Fleur de Vida is?
Of course I know what the Flora de Vida is, you fool! This is my home!
Calm down. Good lord, calm down. You're gonna get us caught.
No, they cannot hear me, right? It is just you.
You're squeaking quite a bit.
Oh, does it sound like squeaks to other people? Is that the lore now? Okay.
I don't know. What do lizards sound like?
I do not know. They sound like Diego.
Anyways, do you know where this thing goes?
This goes to Caverna de Luz.
Is this the right direction? I hope you could help me out a little bit.
Help you out a little bit. I helped you up the waterfall, you fool. Without me, you would be scorched on the ground like a bug, like Carlos.
Oh, no. Too soon. Too soon, Diego.
Too soon, Diego. Too soon.
Yeah, sorry about that. That is not consistent with my character. I hold Carlos in high regard.
Is this the right way?
Of course, it is the right way, fool.
I'll keep going that way. Zach, I'd like to recall knowledge to see if I remember any specific details that Elvyara might have told me or told us
Sure.
about where the Fleur de Vida specifically goes.
Yeah, absolutely. You could roll that.
So far, every fish Adam has had to interact with has been,
been
only
so rude
frustrating
to
for
him.
him.
Yeah. He's like, I'm so excited
That's
to talk
just
to
Zach.
fish. Maybe someday I'll talk to fish in Sidonia and they'll be really nice to him, but these fish are like,
Would that be lore?
yeah, it just you could just add your perception and +4 to it.
Okay. +4?
Yeah.
That's a 23.
Sweet. Yeah, as you're jogging down this cavern, you do at least understand, even from your conversations with Renard and Elyara, and just kind of the context of the situation, you know it needs to be returned to the soils, they said, and that resides in Caverna de Luz. And just maybe the way that Renard described it as like really beautiful, you would expect to see a spot with maybe like rich soil or something that looks magical about it. It's said to be in the heart of Caverna de Luz. So you're just really looking for a patch of soil really in Caverna de Luz where this flower ought to go. You'd expect, as important as it is, that you could kind of see the focal point of this cavern when you get there.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll continue on my way, but obviously keeping an eye out and an ear out for signs of trouble, so I don't just like run right into it.
Yeah.
As
Speaking
best I
of
can.
which, actually, from your perception check earlier that we haven't gotten to, as you're running and you're kind of bickering with Diego, telling him to pipe down because apparently he's squeaking ever so quietly, but you can hear him with his very rambunctious voice. Also, I created him just so I could call you fool occasionally, but yeah.
You don't
sort of
have
his
to.
thing.
You can just call me a fool, Zach.
Okay,
that's
all
fine.
right.
You don't
All
gotta
right,
create a
fool.
character.
Well, as you're running down this tunnel, you're caught completely off guard for a moment as a kitsune steps into the opening of this tunnel, maybe from around a corner, and they sort of hold their hands up, and as you slide to a stop, confused, and get your bearings, you realize this is Renard with his red fur, and he holds one finger up to his lips in kitsune form, shushing you, holds up his hand, signaling for you to halt, and then wipes his hands to the side, telling you to get cover, get behind something, and then he tucks behind the corner, and you start to hear a lot of commotion coming down the tunnel. It sounds like rifles rattling, footsteps coming your way, lots of shouting, and it sounds like more kitsune. What do you do?
Wait, hold on. You said it's Renard?
Yes.
Looks like Renard.
Tastes like Renard.
Smells like Renard.
Renard? Is that you?
You fool! He said to take cover, I think.
I'll take cover and continue just staring at him.
Well, he tucked around the corner, I said.
Oh. Sorry, I was so shocked when you said that my mind just stopped listening for a second. Okay, well, I'll take cover wherever I can.
All right, yeah, you dive behind a rock, very confused, breathing a little bit heavy. You have your back towards the tunnel for a moment as you're just thinking, like, did I just see Renard? That makes no sense. And you're hearing all these other kitsune come in, and you keep your back tight against the rock. Can you roll me a stealth check with a +4 circumstance bonus since you're tipped off by Renard?
Nat 20.
Oh, sick, really? I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
More like Caverna de Win.
Right.
That's a good one, man.
That's a good one.
How long are you holding on
You've
to
been
that
holding
one?
on to that one, huh?
Why didn't you
Oh,
say
yeah.
that till like maybe he wins, you know? Why don't you just
Joel,
you
please
know?
cut your joke and keep mine in.
Got it.
All right, Jules, with that nat 20, as you're thinking, did I really just see Renard? You maybe start to look back around the rock and then do see a troop of kitsune soldiers just running down the tunnel towards you, and think better of trying to get a second look and hold your back up tightly against the rock, maybe disappearing into some shadow a bit. Danger Diego is probably squeaking at you.
What do you mean? We can get vengeance on Carlos. Kill them all here. They're coming towards us, those fools. Fine, we shall
Call you Tough 2.0.
Who is tough?
You start to see them run past you. There's a lot of commotion. Their rifles are like arming weapons, and you're hearing lots of chatter.
The Flora de Vida is here? I guess so. These fools are desperate for one final attempt to save this city.
And they continue sprinting past you, and it starts to feel like it's thinning out a bit, and there's maybe not a lot of troops coming. So you peek around the other side of the rock, and you see one of the kitsune stop in this little opening, and as the final soldier runs by, he grabs him on the shoulder and says,
Set a charge below the tunnel.
and the kitsune looks at him.
What do you mean? Raul is still in there. It is Raul who gave the order. This is our final stand.
And he looks at him and nods and looks proud and eager, and then reaches into a pouch and pulls out a sun shard looking crudely chipped away grenade with a fuse in it, and he sets it on the ground and then lights the fuse, and they look at one another and nod and then start sprinting past you down the tunnel. And you turn around the corner and see Bernard standing in the opening, and he's beckoning you, like saying, now, run, let's go, and starts backing away. What do you do?
I definitely get up and run towards Renard.
Okay, can you roll me a reflex save?
That's still an 18.
Okay. You start sprinting towards the bomb as Renard is signaling to you, beckoning you on, starts backing away himself, and Danger Diego is like, "What are you doing, you fool? You're running towards the bomb. You are a fool. You are crazy. Shut up." And you run and dive past this bomb in the opening as it erupts behind you, and the tunnel starts to cave inward and rocks fly. You maybe get hit by a couple as you roll on the ground, and you're going to take 4 damage as you slide and feel yourself covered in all this dust and dirt, and the rubble starts to calm itself, the echoing ceasing in the cavern. You maybe cough a little bit, kind of get on your hands and knees and see Renard's feet and look up at him, and he smiles at you.
Renard?
And with that, we will cut over to...
Oh, man.
Dang it. No, go back. Come back to me, actually. Let's keep going.
All right, so Tough, Dax, and Waltz, you guys are in this boat. Tough just did this magnificent display of Florida Vita power. You maybe didn't know exactly what he was doing, and then all of a sudden you hear the Murkvane roar off in the distance and wings flapping, and don't really know what the plan is, so I'll kick it over to you guys.
Tough, I'm hoping you have a plan here. I don't want to be here when that thing shows up.
Right. Well, for the next part of my plan, I actually didn't think this far yet.
Are you kidding me? You didn't think of this?
Hey, I was
You had
working
this
with what I
whole
got.
awesome thought out thing, and you didn't think. Good Lord. Okay.
Hey, I took care of what I needed to take care of, and that was making sure you don't get in the way of anything. As for the rest of this stuff, I don't know jack about Raoul, and I don't know jack about the Murkvane. That's where you might actually come in handy for once.
Look, if we don't get out of here soon, there's not going to be anything for me to get in the way of, because we're not going to live much past when it shows up. Thankfully, I never had the displeasure of running into one of these on Drakis, but that's where they're from.
Well, then we should probably get a move on, huh? The way I see it, the safest place for us to be away from that thing is inside there, and I'll point towards the castle.
But isn't that where Jules is? We don't want to draw him right to him, do we? Wasn't the whole point to lead the Murkvane away from him?
No, dingus, we aren't going all the way to the Caverna de Luz. We're just going to the castle so that they think that's where we're trying to go. Our goal is to act as much of a distraction for Jules as we can in the meantime. And I need you guys to keep me alive while we do that. Like I said before, you might actually come in handy if you know something about this Murkvane.
Oh, all right. That actually makes some sense. All I know is that this thing is super freaking dangerous. It doesn't even need to be that close to us to mess us up. You saw it shoot lightning. It can do that pretty much whenever it wants, as far as I know. It has all sorts of weird magic stuff it can do. It doesn't have to just bite my head off. We're sitting ducks out here. We gotta move. I can shoot it with my bow, but I don't know how much help that's gonna be. I think I'll just piss it off. Waltz, is there anything I can do to help you row faster? I don't really have any potions or anything, but I'm happy to help.
Well, Dax, I want to get on land just as quick as everybody else, but I'm going as quick as I can here, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate it, Waltz.
You maybe realize Waltz has been rowing really fast the entire time you guys have been arguing.
We are
Ever
moving.
since the Murkvane let out a roar.
Good job, Waltz.
So, Ryan, when you as Tough were confronting Dax about the whole Dunadas thing and everything, I guess something I've been wondering is it kind of got dropped pretty quickly. What was the main conflict from Tough?
So basically what Tough was trying to figure out there is, yeah, he's pissed about Dunadas, but he's willing enough to put aside the Dunadas thing right now to at least realize that Dax hasn't been working with the blue kobold and the big bad guy and stuff right now, and he just wanted to make sure that Dax wasn't planning to like turn on us or like screw over this part of the mission, because he knows that at least right now the main priority is getting Flora de Vida to where it needs to be, and any like personal beef he has with Dax can be taken care of later.
Okay.
Waltz, I almost forgot you were here. Did you hear the plan?
Yeah, I heard the plan. I'll get us there as quick as we can.
Yeah, and once we're there, we're acting as a distraction. Do you think you can be really loud and draw attention to us? Oh wait, what am I saying? Of course you can, Saddle Boy.
Yeah, well, listen, if we do end up finding a hippogriff, I'm going to be the only one who's prepared around here.
You know, Waltz, that might actually come in handy. Well, guys, I got these meteor shot arrows. They'd probably come in handy. They do a lot of damage. I hope I'm not close enough to use them, to be honest with you guys. But if there's an opportunity that we can create where I can shoot that thing with these, I've got 3 of them burning a hole in my pocket, quite literally.
Yeah, those will definitely come in handy. For right now, I say we're just a distraction. We're trying to get to that castle as soon as we can, so we've got cover from that thing. But getting the Flora de Vida into the Caverna de Luz is only half the battle. After that, we're going to have to deal with Raoul and this Merkvein somehow.
I wish I had more of an idea of what we were going to be up against with Raoul. I know he's bad news. I haven't seen him fight anything necessarily. I don't know how powerful he is from a fighting standpoint, but he seems to be really influential over a lot of powerful bad people, so I don't know.
Can you all roll me a perception check?
Yeah, and Zach, can I say that Waltz has been refocusing this time?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Nat 8, 16.
That's the weirdest way anyone's ever told me they rolled a roll explanation.
I have an 18 too.
Okay.
23.
All right, you guys have maybe been discussing for a while now as Waltz is rowing vigorously. There's the occasional roar off in the distance, wing flaps. You can tell the Merkvein is certainly working its way towards you, but it's not unencumbered. You're hoping that El Yara also sensed what's going on and there is interference between the Merkvein and you. You're very, very thankful for that as you're rowing towards that. But you've been so fixated on that sound and also just trying to strategize at the same time that you realize some bells have been ringing on the castle for a moment or two and start to shift your eyes over there, and you're now getting close enough to the castle that you can even hear lots of yelling and commotion of troops getting in place, and you start to see Kitsune manning the walls and loading shard rifles and aiming down towards you all on the boats. Does this change your plan in any way as you see them preparing to start firing down on you all, or are you just going to try and power your way to shore? You don't have too much further to go.
How much further to go? How far are we from the show?
I'd say you're about 150 feet.
Dax, you may need to provide us some cover fire if we're going to get to land.
As much as I hate to say it, Waltz, we're gonna need to be closer before I can do anything like that. I can't shoot that far.
Save those meteor shots for the Merkvein. We're gonna need something heavy to hit that. Waltz, you leave the plans to us. Just focus on getting there as quickly as you can. No brain work. Use muscle work. Row.
All right, I'll keep rowing.
Sorry, Taryn. I feel so mean.
Oh, no, it's okay, Ryan.
And I get in trouble for player hate.
Yeah, I'll keep rowing though. How far away are we from land? Can I do some form of
150 feet.
sprint or something? I don't know. I don't know what else I could do other than just.
Yeah, you can roll me an athletics check.
That's what I'll do, Zach or Nasty.
Waltz, keep rowing harder. I've got something that'll help us out once we get a little closer. And I'll kind of load and prepare the grappling gun that's attached to my wrist.
Awesome. So it sounds like you guys are just going to lower your shoulder and try and survive some of these volleys. So can you all roll me a reflex save?
21.
I'm gonna use my hero point, which is
Okay.
probably risky, but ooh, that panned out. 33.
I got an 18.
All right. As you see these kitsune communicating, stuffing sun shards into these rifles, hearing them charge, a commander taking place in charge of these soldiers, and they say, "Fire!" And all of these sun shard rifles at the same time just simultaneously fire out these beams that ripple through the air and come flying towards your boat. Dax, you expertly, gut instinct, even though you can't swim, you flip yourself over the side of the boat, but keep your hands on the edge of it and allow your feet to sort of drag in the water for a moment as a lot of these beams fly over your head and impact the water, and you see water flying up. Maybe one strikes the boat where you were, burns a hole in it as it starts to tip to the side. Waltz, you're rowing and realize you're like the biggest target with your arms out wide, and you see a lot of these beams flying at you, and you may be just a little too late let go of one of the rows and grab your shield and hold it up in front of you, and it does protect you from most of them, but you do take some damage as they start to hit you in the chest, and you maybe turn over for a second and just try and wait out this volley. And Tough, as the shot hits the side of the boat, maybe where Dax was, and causes it to rock for a moment, you sort of lose your balance and tip to the side, and your plan to dodge gets thrown off as you get peppered by even more of the beams than anyone else. And Tough, you take 12 damage as you're struck by several beams, and Waltz, you take 6 as you get your shield up just a little bit too late. Dax, you take 0 damage.
Ouch, Waltz! Row faster.
Going, buddy. I'm going.
You made me get hit.
Listen, I'm trying there, Tough. Why don't you do something that's actually helpful?
Snapping back. How dare you? Don't get short with me.
Dax will flip back into the boat and look to Waltz. Hey, that gives me a great idea. Give me your shield.
Here you go, buddy.
Dax will take the shield. Mechanically, I don't know how you want to play this, but my thought is I'll grab the shield and then just like park in front of Waltz. Either maybe you could consider that us taking cover as an action, or physically using a shield, whatever you want to do. But that's my thought. Is I'm going to put the shield me and then Waltz.
Hey, remember the part when I said keep me alive? Give me some room. And I like shove Dax to the side.
Yeah, get in here.
That's awesome. Kind of like this D-Day beach landing. You guys are just rowing into this gunfire, taking shelter behind the shield. Waltz, you're maybe keeping your head lower as you're rowing, making a lot more of a shoulder fly type movement, man. You're really feeling the burn, but you're looking jacked.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
You got that silhouette going right now as your side delts are really popping and everyone's taking notice.
Let's make that the session sketch. I want to draw that so bad.
Adam, get back in your cage and keep drawing.
Oh, sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. So sorry.
Bigger delts, Adam, bigger.
Can you all roll me another reflex save, this time with a +2 circumstance bonus?
23.
Yes.
26.
24.
You all sort of make your silhouette smaller as you get behind the shield and hunker down for another volley. You see the wall has even more soldiers on it now, more gunfire is coming down, and it's just peppering the boat relentlessly.
I don't know, Tough. This seems like a great time for one of those meteor shots.
You're going to say the same thing later when we're up against a merc vein. Now shut up.
And you're realizing it's hard for all of you to kind of get behind the shield, even Dax and Tough, with how small you are, and they do have a higher vantage point, so they can still see parts of you, but you do feel slightly more protected for some of the more head-on shots. Waltz, you're kind of at even the biggest disadvantage, maybe being towards the back of the boat and trying to row, and all these shots come peppering down, chip away at some of the wood, splash water around you, and strike some of you, singeing your shoulders, and you all take 4 damage.
No. I said give me more room, Dax. I'm keep getting hit.
Yeah, join the club.
Waltz has been relentlessly rowing through this, and you realize you're within 100 feet of the shoreline now, Tough, if you want to try and fire out that grappling hook.
I do. So I want to plant my feet like up against either sort of the seat or the front of it or something like that. So I'm kind of like lean back. You know when you're at the gym and you got that rowing machine and your feet are up on there? I know Taryn knows.
Yeah, I definitely go to the gym and know what that means.
And I want to like fire off that grappling hook and just like hold that position, crank that grappling hook as we go and see if it gives us a little extra boost.
Absolutely.
So sick.
You do exactly that. aim down your wrist shot, fire it out, and then just like Spider-Man, just grip the grapple tighter to kind of put a firmer hold on it, and then lean back on the boat just like you were saying, and you start pulling with your arms the best you can just to give a little bit of an oomph to Waltz's rowing. And Waltz, you do feel a little bit of boost in your rowing and feel like you are going faster. And then Tough, you kind of maybe smirk to yourself, but then realize you are now the biggest target on the boat as you stand in the front of it, perfectly upright, holding on to this.
Uh-oh.
So can you all roll me a reflex save? You guys can still keep the +2, except for Tough, you're going to get a -2.
Oh, great.
Oh man, that's not a good roll for Joel. Well, okay, non-natural 20. 4 on dice.
15 for old Tuffy.
32.
Oh,
Dang, that's awesome.
Good job,
Wow,
Taryn.
wow.
I'm proud of you, Taryn.
Thanks, everybody.
You know these Kitsune aren't the best with these rifles, like you've seen that before. These are obviously weapons that Gothram and Raoul supplied them with because they're powerful, but it's not something that's native to them. So you've kind of noticed over these volleys that their shots are getting more and more zeroed in. The spread is a lot tighter, and they're shooting in this very close-knit group now with this next volley. So you feel like there's even more beams flying at you, even though it's the same number of shots. And they really just hammer Tough. Like, Tough, you're on the very front of this boat, and you see him get annihilated as multiple beams just pepper him in the chest, sparks flying off. He's doing his best to stand upright and hold on to the rope. And Waltz, it actually provides even more cover for you because he is completely upright in the front of the boat, and you realize multiple shots would have hit you, but they just hit Tough completely. And then Dax, being cowered behind the shield, you are up towards the front of the boat near Tough, so you do take the impact of a lot of the same shots. Tough, you are going to take 13 damage from this volley.
Well done, Tough. That's what I'm talking about.
Dax, you take 6, and Waltz, you take 0 from
Beauty.
this.
stop shooting at me.
And as you say that, you realize they did stop shooting for a second as they all look over their shoulders and kind of yell and are communicating with one another. You see the commander flagging his arm.
Over here. Get it set up. They're nearing the shore. Yes.
And you're like, uh-oh, what does that mean? And then you see another one run up and set down this big tube on the ground with a stand, and other Kitsune running over with these big orbs of sun shard, and they kick out the legs of this stand, and it's aimed upright into the air. Dax, you would recognize this as something you've seen the Voshek use from time to time, and no, they are zeroing in a mortar
Gosh darn.
on your location. And as you think of that, you realize your boat is pretty close to being shot to shreds and aren't sure if you could survive this.
Guys, that's not good.
Son of a female Kitsune. Dax, shoot it. Shoot it. I can't take anymore. Just shoot it.
Dax is feeling pretty desperate right now, and the only thing he really feels that he can do against something like that is to knock one of those meteor shot arrows, pull back and let her rip at that mortar. Try to at least buy us a little bit of time.
So you're like 100 feet from the shore, but like maybe 200 feet from where they're at on this wall. So this is going to be a far shot.
So my range is 60. So if they're 200, that would be -8.
Yep.
Dax, what are you doing? Shoot it. You doing calculus in your head right now?
Oh, shut up. It's not that easy. Dax is like aiming the bow dang near like a 45-degree angle up in the sky, just hoping for anything he can do. Waltz, can you keep it steady for a second?
You got it, buddy. And I'll take the paddles out of the water and make sure that it's as steady as possible for Dax to shoot. And Zach, can I use that to aid him?
For sure, man. He can have a +2 circumstance bonus.
Well, that's
okay.
not necessarily how aid works. I get a +4 circumstance bonus on checks to aid.
Okay. Well, then
from
can you roll me
cooperative
an
nature.
athletics check?
29.
Nice.
All right.
Waltz, you lift the paddles out of the water and then put like your thumbs on the inside of the boat and just grab onto the boat and like use your core strength to just keep this boat as steady as possible. You're kind of looking up through your brow at the wall with the mortar being loaded and all these rifles aimed at you, and are just trying to steady your breathing and
Get ready, Dax.
give Dax the go ahead. So he's going to receive a +2 circumstance bonus to the shot, which he's going to need because this is way beyond his normal range, and he's going to take a penalty. So fire it up, Dax.
That brings
Let's
my
go, Daxy Poo.
That brings my negative to a -6 to my roll instead of a -8. So every little bit
That's
helps.
right.
Well, this feels like a big roll. Let's do it.
You got it, buddy. And don't forget that our lives literally hinge on this roll.
That is an 18.
Oh, I don't know if I love that.
18's
I don't know
not
if
bad.
I love that either.
Especially with the -6, that's pretty good.
So actually, Dax, for this, they do a basic reflex save instead of a shot. So I'm going to lower the save of this, like make it easier for them to save against it in the same distance, essentially.
I see. Roll bad, roll bad, roll bad, roll bad, roll bad.
Dax, can you roll me the damage of this?
I don't think we ever explained what this does.
Yep, you can read it if you want.
So, this craggy stone ammunition is warm to the touch. When you fire an activated meteor shot, it explodes into a small swarm of meteors as it reaches its target, scorching nearby creatures and littering the ground with rubble.
That's freaking sweet.
In addition to the weapon's normal damage, the meteor shot deals fire damage, and the ground in the area becomes difficult terrain. The ammunition deals 3d6 fire damage in a 5-foot emanation around the target.
Dang, son.
That's cool. I really hope this hits now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
no
roll your
joke.
short bow and then your fire damage.
And remember, I have 2 light hammers. I could throw one. I don't mind.
Not the best, but not terrible. 9 damage, 2 regular damage, and 7 fire damage.
All
I
right.
thought it was going to be better.
Same.
Dax, you pull back on the bow. You feel the boat steady. You see them preparing to load the mortar, and you just fire this into the air, aiming small, hoping to miss small. There's just so much going on up there. You know it's got AoE, but you're just aiming for this mortar, and you release it, and you see some of the kitsune that were going to load the mortar raise their head, and then see the arrow expand and then rip apart into multiple flaming fragments that start to rain down. And you see the kitsune, heads up, overhead. And a bunch of them just dive out of the way as some of the arrows rain down, and some hit maybe a kitsune or two as you see them catch fire, and most of them dodge out of the way. And then they lift their heads up and look back at each other and feel like the volley's over and start to stand up. And then one more little arrow pops in the air and then rains down, and it's coming directly down on top of the mortar, which cannot do a reflex save because it's a completely solid object and nobody moved it. And you see it go down the tube and then just strike one of the sun shards within it and then just erupt in this massive explosion as you destroyed the ammunition within it, and the mortar just explodes, and you see like part of the wall just erupt completely and crumble as a bunch of kitsune slide off of it and just like fall towards their deaths. And you realize this mortar is no longer a threat to you guys as Dax just
Attaboy,
went full
Daxy.
beast mode on
Boy,
them.
Daxy.
Yeah, that was freaking awesome.
I'm not gonna lie, that went a little bit better than I expected.
And then I look over to Dax, realizing who I'm saying that to, and I go, nice shot.
And as Waltz, you continue to row again and you're starting to get on shore, the kitsune are yelling, trying to get things sorted back out, get back on the wall, man themselves. So I'm going to remove one of the volleys you would have had to survive, and you're getting closer and closer to shore, and you're about to make landfall. And as you're doing that, you see a lot of the kitsune call out to one another. They take out similar grappling hooks like Tough has, you know, because you got that from a store for riders, for these types of soldiers, and they fire them down from the walls and set up zip lines as some of them start zip lining onto the shore to meet you. And one more volley is going to be fired out at you. Can you roll me one more reflex save as you prepare to make it to shore?
You said with a +2 circumstance bonus again?
Yeah, the shield's still there. Yeah.
28.
Okay. What about you, Tough and Dax?
Hey, I actually did good. 29, says I.
Nice.
Beauty. Very beauty.
Ooh.
What is it, Daxy?
That is a nat 20, meaning a 34.
Jeez. Always got to do
Sick.
the best.
Okay. Yeah,
Well
so
done,
you see
Digsby.
them all load up their rifles. They're looking angry now. They realize you guys are like here to play and just took out like a bunch of them, took out their mortar, and they're seeing you're about to make landfall. And you hear the command, they're fire at will, kill them. And these volleys are just coming relentlessly now. They're not like trying to fire in unison. It's just like raining down on the boat, just peppering the water. The spread is like crazy right now. You're just seeing like water in your vision, even some hitting the beach and sand like flying up. And they're just raining down all around you. It's like starting to hit the boat. The boat's even catching fire. Dax, you take the shield out of the front of the boat and like flip it on your back and like maybe even just like dive and put your arms around Tuff and Waltz and just like tackle them in the upper chest as it just incinerates the boat as you guys are about to make landfall, and the boat just explodes and splinters and you fall into really shallow water on top of each other and realize all of these shots have missed you. Dax, it's like your first time being immersed in water, but you stand up and luckily it's like chest height. Maybe Waltz even grabs onto the nape of your neck and like lifts you out, and you guys just start sprinting to shore as all of these shots are just raining down and you're dodging all of them.
Run,
Kitsune rushing to meet you on the beach, blades drawn, rifles drawn, as you guys are preparing to fight your way into the castle. And with that, we'll cut back to Jules,
Intense stuff.
who is at
That was awesome.
the feet of Renard. What do you do, Jules?
I'm just staring at him, very confused. I think the last thing I said before we switched over was Renaud?
And what does Renard say, Josh? Just kidding. Josh isn't here.
No, you
son of a...
SOB.
He died,
Oh my
remember?
gosh,
Don't you
my
guys remember
heart's
that?
sake.
Don't
My
you guys remember
heart's sake,
Josh?
you
Josh and we
jerk.
killed Josh in real life, remember? You say that and Renard doesn't speak and takes a few steps back, and you see a faint little swirl of energy around him, maybe glows for a moment, and then standing in his place as you realize you now have to look down is a semi-transparent halfling standing before you. They have on a very pristine looking vest, a cloak that maybe goes down to their knees. They have curly hair that goes down almost to their shoulders, but not quite. And it's brushed back. It looks like there's gel in it. It's just very well kept. They're standing with their hands behind their back, a little bit of gray in their hair, but they say, "Sorry for the deception there, Jules.
Who are you? What happened to Renaud?
Renaud was never here. Again, I apologize. It's just, I wanted to appear as someone you could trust."
Keep talking. I mean, who are you?
Well, I am Eddard Mudfoot.
All right. What are you doing here? Why are you here? I'm so confused. Listen, I don't have a lot of time. Can we talk along the way?
You haven't much further to go, Jules. Trust me, this is worth your time.
Okay, keep talking. I'll check to see if Diego's all right.
Diego maybe crawls out from some rocks and lets out little tiny little coughs, like little puffs of smoke come up.
You are crazy, Jules. What is wrong with you, you fool?
I'll pick him up and put him on my shoulder, and I'll just shush him.
Jules, can you roll me a perception check with like your normal perception with a +2 circumstance bonus?
It's a nat 20.
Oh, awesome. As you see Eddard thinking about what he's going to say, you get a sense that he needs to be careful with what he does or does not say to you. And you also are surprised by how calm he is, but you can still sense urgency in him, if that makes sense. It's very calculated, the way he is composing himself. And as you're waiting for him to speak, you're kind of replaying what he just said to you with his name. And you're wondering why Mudfoot sounds familiar. And you remember just with your time on the Black Dawn with Scratch, your tattooist, who was also a halfling.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you guys go by your pirate names, you know just in him telling you about his past that Mudfoot is a sort of derogatory term that halflings might give to one another as a replacement surname or something like that if they kind of live a life off the beaten path or seek adventure or a profession that isn't routine or mundane. just a way of saying that their feet will now be dirty and this life on the path, they're seeking adventure. So if a halfling says like, oh, he's a mudfoot, it means like you don't want to associate with that guy. He's not a simple farmer. He's not this or that. He's all about adventure and things like that. But Edard just saying, I am Edard Mudfoot, kind of just shows that he embraces that. That means nothing to him. He actually probably would think that's cool. It's not really something that most Mudfoots might embrace or things like that.
Taking all of that in, considering that he knew to appear as Renard when I've never seen this person before in my life, would lead Jules to believe that this person is of some great significance. Sensing the urgency, yet he has a lot of weight in his words, Jules will take a knee in, I guess, just a sign of like patience and trust of just, I'm gonna stay out of the way. I'm not gonna say anything unless I need to.
Edard is pacing side to side. Do not worry, Jules. Raoul is not far from here, and you must face him. And a lot hinges on this. I know I don't have to tell you this. I'm breaking a lot of rules by being here, but like you, I am one who tends to bend the rules. And seeing as Gothram has done the same with his champion, I figure there's no harm in me doing this with you.
His champion? So are you saying that I am your champion?
Yes, I am the one who gave you the Elder Mark, Jules. I'm sorry, I see it has brought you much burden.
Burden? My whole life I've sought adventure. I've never experienced anyone like this before, though. Thank you.
That is why I chose you, Jules. I see a lot of me in you. I'm a Mudfoot after all. Adventure is something I seek as well. And of course the fact that you wield a mythium, as I do.
A mythium? I'm not familiar with those.
Of course you are. You are working to perfect yours, are you not? This tune of yours?
My song?
Yes, your song.
It is called a mythium.
Yes, sorry, I forget you cannot speak Elder. But they're special. Again, I'm breaking a lot of rules by being here, but I don't know if I'll get another chance to speak with you so directly. Especially after doing this, but some of us bards, we have been gifted with a legendary tale of sorts, persuasion through arts that can influence the course of history in a profound way. Mine was a performance of sorts as well, merely words, and yours seems to be a tune, a ballad of sorts, but it's important that you perfect this mythium.
I've been trying for so long.
Well, how can you finish it when the tale is not yet done? Some of which lays beyond this tunnel, here.
Jules nods in understanding, waiting to hear more.
I've been studying you for quite some time, Jules. You'll understand this more in time. I don't have time to divulge everything here to you now, but I have been guiding you for a while now to moments such as these. And he steps for just a moment, and you see his form change just like it was with Renard, and you see that he is now floating in front of you and looks like Kyra swimming underwater for just a brief moment, then turns back to the way he looks before and says, again, I apologize for the deception, but I just want you to trust that it is for your best interest. And you remember that you saw Kyra standing on the node when you were fleeing Serapis, and your trust and care for her is what brought you to the node.
Oh my goodness.
And realize it was Edard.
Edard's a bro.
That was you that led me to the node, that saved me from Serapis.
Yes, you are not a keeper yet, so surely you could not travel through an unaligned node yourself. I had to intervene.
Oh my god.
First off, thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know what to say. So much of this has been a complete mystery. I've had so many questions, but I feel like I'm finally starting to put the pieces of the puzzle together.
Yes, unfortunately, keepers are one for theatrics, secrecy, and
They're very dramatic, and that's coming from a bard. I was somewhat of a black sheep of the keepers, something I was amongst the halflings as well. That is why I'm willing to break the rules right now and help you.
What do I need to do?
Well, it's simple. You need to defeat Raoul. I know you know this, but Raoul has borrowed power as well from a keeper. Gothram has given him gifts. Gifts that are no longer his to give. Believe me when I say I hate Gothram more than anyone I've ever encountered in Caldora, and I would very much like to see his efforts thwarted here.
As would I.
So I am going to gift you some power as well. Again, this is very much against the rules. You kind of get the sense that he is proud of the fact that he breaks rules, and you're probably very grateful that your keeper is one that is willing to do so. And you're kind of seeing like why he picked you. You know, you're a pirate. You sort of toe the line at times. You were willing to break the rules and run away with Kyra, and it makes sense why he might resonate with you. And he says, "To your feet, Jules."
I stand up.
He says, "Might you hold out your trident for me? I cannot grab it myself."
I take it out, maybe do a little flip for the dramatics, and extend it.
It is a fine weapon. You use it well.
Thank you.
And you need a weapon more fitting of your skills now. And he reaches his hand out, and he simply touches it, and you see a glow work its way up and resonate around it, and you start to see etchings carved into it that look very similar to the etchings that are on nodes that you cannot read. And this is now a +1 striking trident, in addition to the returning rune.
Well done.
In addition to the returning rune, which would make it double the damage dice.
Heck yes.
Sick.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sure you have more questions. Once the rest of you decipher the words that were spoken to you through the node, perhaps you will find more answers. Again, I apologize for the theatrics and the mystery. I'm afraid I've broken enough rules today as it is.
Are you going?
Yes, I must. But before I go, I'd like to give you some parting words, Jules.
I'll nod, eagerly waiting to hear what he has to say.
He paces back and forth a little bit. You see he's getting more and more transparent as he's pacing in front of you. And he looks down the tunnel, and you sort of look over his shoulder and see that there is a massive open cavern just beyond. And you see many waterfalls feeding into it and vegetation. And you know that this is Caverna de Luz down there. And you know that Raoul is in there. And he looks to you. Do not fear Raoul, Jules. He is a follower chosen by Gothram for his wickedness. And he fights for a lie that satisfies the hate in his heart. But hate is fleeting and short-sighted, whereas love endures. Those you love, and he looks upwards, battle evil not far above our heads, and they do so because they believe in you. I will not lie to you. Do not know if you can defeat Raoul, but I know your love for your friends will push you farther than his hatred for his enemy. So, fight for your friends, Juldas of Sidonia. He starts to back away, and you realize, as a bard, he said that one of his greatest abilities, this mythium he wields, is words of persuasion. And it reminds you of the courageous anthem, the inspire courage ability that you have. And he says it to you, and you see a shimmer start to form around you, and you're going to receive 20 temporary hit points.
Whoa!
And you will receive the effects of Courageous Anthem for the duration of this battle you are entering into.
That means you're really gonna need it.
And he gestures into the open cavern, and he gives you a nod.
Wait, Eddard.
He simply tilts his head.
You'd make a great pirate.
I know, I was one, for a time. And he simply salutes to you and fades away into nothing as your eyes, now unimpeded by his presence, can see into the open cavern where you know Raoul waits
guarding the soils of Ciudad de la Nubes. And that is where we'll end our
I'm gonna need some stuff explained to me, yo.
Holy crapola.
Ryan, how am I going to explain stuff to you if I don't know what your question is, if you have to shut up? Because we're going to talk about the downtime, which is where we react to the most recent episode, which is this episode where a bunch of stuff happened.
Smart.
Yeah.
Guys, I gotta pee.
Oh, it's okay, Adam. You can just hold it. Or you can pee your pants. Just hold it or pee your pants. Okay.
I'm supposed to be shut up.
So, real quick, I need to confess something. So you guys can comment on Spotify, right? And I love reading the Spotify comments. Like, it makes me so happy to read Spotify comments. And there was like a 2-month stretch, it felt like, where nobody was commenting on the episode. And I was like, what the heck? Because normally I open Spotify and I filter it to comments that need review because I release them. Like, you guys post them, I see them, and then I say, like, yeah, that's okay. I don't know why Spotify makes you do that, but I have to, like, agree to publish it. And I every day I'd open it or whatever, and I didn't see anything in there. And I was like, that's weird. Why is nobody commenting on our episodes? And then I finally realized that Spotify pushed out an update where it auto-publishes comments written in English, it says. So then I got to go to the publish, and then I just found all these comments you guys have been leaving. And it made me, like, super happy to read them all.
Well, shucky darn.
Yeah, it was really, really cool.
Hey, Zach, will you
so
read one or two of them?
I'm gonna read a few of them because I feel like I owe it to people because like I just haven't been reading these.
That's fun.
All these begging for comments you've done,
yeah.
and it was happening right under our noses.
I know. I felt like such a jerk. Let's start with this one that was on season 2, episode 10. Georgie Schwarzenegger, these are butchered names, said, "Thanks, Zach." In parentheses, Zach spelled differently, T, and then Zach spelled TSAAK, which I love because I love spelling
Zach.
names in as ridiculous as possible. So thank you. He said, "Thanks, Zach, for letting me know we could comment on Spotify. Loving the show. I'm a Titans of Altera fan, so originally started listening because of Josh, and learning that y'all were a PF2E podcast, in parentheses, but no worries, I started with episode 1, because what kind of crazy person doesn't do that?" And then they said, "But I've been hooked since episode 1, keep up the good work." And I love this comment because it was just really nice, really encouraging. And I there it is, it's confirmed. Josh is so cool. He got us listeners. So thank you, Josh. Thank you, George, for checking out a Pathfinder podcast when it sounds like you're a D&D podcast listener. That's probably one of our greatest hurdles, is giving people to like listen to a different system. So thank you for going all the way to episode 1 when you could have just checked out Josh. And yeah, we really appreciate
like how
that. Thank you for the
deep
awesome
into the
comment.
lore of jokes he is, where he knows the like weird spellings meme of everything, and the not starting on episode 1, the one crazy guy that doesn't start on episode 1.
Right. George is really going to like Josh's almost cameo.
Oh,
in
yeah.
this.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Shut up, Joel. We'll talk about the
Joel.
downtime, dude.
Jeez.
Oh, crap, you're
gosh,
right.
dude.
Sorry.
Quacks like a dog.
Oh yeah, read that
said,
one.
I will tell you when I'm doing it. Season 2, episode 12, where Renard dies. They said, "Renard's death might be the rawest thing I'll ever hear in a
Spoiler
TTRPG campaign. GM Zach Ernesti never ceases to amaze. Digsby's crew crushes it every episode, both in terms of RP and of production value. And Josh's influence on these last few episodes has kicked it, all of it up to 11. Viva la Ciudad de la Nubes."
Yeah, this one goes to 11,
Let's
bro.
go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest though. I completely agree with
I
that.
miss
Yeah, I
Josh.
completely agree with that too. Josh made our episodes awesome, and I love that his impact is still felt in the story. And yeah, I hope Josh hears these. I know he's been listening to the show still, so yeah, thank you, Josh. Thank you, Quacks Like a Dog, who I know who this is. They're in the Discord. So thank you for that awesome comment. And I agree, totally kicked it up to 11. And let's read one more. I have so much fuel now to read at the end of episodes now that I know you guys have been commenting this whole time. But I just feel like I owe you a few more. So this one, I don't even know how to butcher this one. Let's see. Cauliflower, I'll just say. On season 2, episode 19, Fog of War, where you guys all did those awesome takedowns and just had a really cool combat episode, they said, "It was awesome to hear everyone get a chance to shine, especially Dax.
Yeah.
Also, the sound design is fantastic. I swear it somehow gets better every episode." So yeah, take a bow there, Taryn, for your awesome sound effects and sound design and all your hard work there. As a
Thank you
person
for
who like
liking it.
yeah, as a person that QCs it, so I like open it and I see all the work Tara did, and like our editing software like puts colors for each like layer and sound effect you put in, and when I open it, just like the overwhelming density of sound effects and color that I see
It's
that
wild.
Taryn put in there, like you'll just find like a 20-second stretch of the episode, and there's like 30 things in there, and he's like tweaking the echo and the volume and
Yeah.
like overlapping them
Well, thank you.
and changing the pitch and doing all this
Thank you,
awesome
thank
stuff.
you.
Because you're right, Taryn, you're getting better with each episode, which is crazy because you're already amazing at it. And dude, you're setting the bar too high. You're never gonna sleep,
Gosh,
bro.
guys.
Like you can't.
I
You're gonna
appreciate you
you're gonna
guys.
kill yourself, buddy.
I
Like
appreciate you.
I've been noticing the increase in the subtle things, like the footsteps, people walking. Someone will point and you'll put like a cloth sound, like their hand extending.
Yeah.
It's just like so much nuance in there, and it's so immersive.
I mean, you guys
thank
are
you for
you
your
guys are
hard work.
Yeah,
getting.
Taryn, just
I mean,
take the
we
compliment.
all, you know, but
Yeah,
especially,
just take the
compliment.
freaking
Shut up,
compliment,
Taryn.
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 Shut
Shut
up.
up.
but
Shut up.
it's becoming
Shut up.
it's becoming easier too, because you know everybody is starting to do like cool things, and we're kind of getting a good hang of it. Zach's describing things really well, and just makes
Dude,
it really
this guy
awesome.
never gets a
scenes, dude.
specific compliment and comments. Like
You're allowed to be
you know,
good
and
at
share it
things,
with
we're,
you
Taryn.
and we're reading him one, and we're reading one,
I
and he
know.
just won't take it. He
Taryn
just
is
won't
way
take it.
too
Like,
humble.
you're really
Taryn,
you
you're too
guys.
nice. I love you.
And to be fair, sound design can absolutely, I don't know if he meant to include it or whatever, but I would absolutely include music in that.
Oh yeah.
I know Ryan
yeah.
has been getting compliments for his music, but the full immersion is definitely a big part of that. Is
Yeah.
like the music that goes in there. And Ryan, you're obviously killing it every time. And I just love the pairing of your guys' effects and the music and how they play off of one another. I know you guys do a lot of back and forth communication. Yeah, the music is incredible. Technically, Joel does sound design too, because he
Look,
removes
this
sounds
is about
like our,
Taryn.
our sniffles and our coughing and our lip smacks. And we just got these new high quality mics that make even more, like picks up all those. So he doesn't sleep now either, actually. So Joel, I hope you don't die too soon, just
That
from your
sounded
absolute
really
lack of
ominous.
sleep. So
Is there?
yeah, I appreciate
there a
you editing
plan?
all the vocals and cutting out all that. So. And Adam for eating the blizzard last episode, that really helped with sound design too. So thank you, bro. For your contributions to that as well. And
It wasn't even that good of a blizzard.
Let's stop stroking our own ego.
Cool. All right.
That's the
There
worst
you go,
part.
Taryn. Other people got compliments from your compliment. just
Thank
like
you
before.
guys. Thank you guys.
Jerk. Yeah. Cool. All right.
That makes me feel better.
And yeah, we'll see you next time, mortals.
You made me get
Why
hit.
don't you do something that's actually helpful instead of just complaining, you little piece of
I want to keep that in so bad.